Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Belief Cast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires Belief Cast. I'm the host, as you guys well know at this point. Thank you for tuning in, as always, and thanks to my sponsors that you just listened to. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do this. And also, again, a shout out to my good friend Paul Cardall for letting us use his music. It really does bring a beautiful feeling and a peace to all the episodes that I put out. So thank you, Paul, for being so great. And thanks to all of you for tuning in week after week. Without you, there would be no one to listen to what we're doing. So you guys have been great. And what I love about you guys, thank you for sharing it with your loved ones, your family, and that kind of thing. That really does make a difference. So, and guys, you guys are in for a doozy today. Seriously. Today on our Belief Cast, I'm excited to welcome Dr. Deonne Johnson. Deonne, thank you for being here.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
We were connected by our good friend Tiffany Peterson, and we were going to shout out to Tiffany. She's amazing. And for those who, many of you know, I've had Tiffany on my show, I think 4 times now, and she's fantastic. So, and she got us connected. So I'm grateful for that.
I am as well.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Deonne is a transformational coach, speaker, author, humanitarian whose life is rooted in turning adversity into purpose. A former corporate leader who realized success without alignment isn't success at all. Deonne left it all behind to live and lead from the heart. She's a single mom of 4, a PhD, a builder of beautiful spaces, and a guide for women navigating life's biggest transitions. Her new guided journal, From Tired to Inspired. I love that. That's a great way to say that. Can't wait to talk more about that. It's a heartfelt roadmap for anyone ready to rise and live authentically. She's wise, bold, and grounded in service. So please welcome Dr. Deonne Johnson to the show.
Thank you so much,
You
Todd.
bet. Yeah. Thanks for being here. She traveled a long way to be here. It really means a lot to me, and I don't take that for granted. I really think this will be a sacred moment for both of us and everyone listening. So why don't we just start off and maybe just share a little bit about where you grew up and maybe a little bit about your childhood so we can get to know you a little bit.
Well, I love that question and that story because I think that having grown up in Kalispell, Montana, which is up in the northwest corner of Montana.
I don't think I've ever heard of that place before.
Oh, it's outside of Glacier National Park.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's beautiful.
Really?
It is one of the most beautiful places that
Okay.
I've been. And I've been to a number of places.
Sure.
I lead humanitarian expeditions, so I travel internationally fairly frequently.
Yeah.
And I think growing up with a father who worked for the Forest Service, so kind of like
Oh, yeah.
salt of the earth people,
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
a mother who was in education, also salt of the earth,
Yep.
and just really rooted values in hard work and a middle class lifestyle. And some reason when I'm struggling, my go-to method is go to school. Because it may not be like the exact path, but you're on a
Right.
good path.
Yeah.
So that's for sure shaped some of my choices. We mentioned earlier, I got my master's from Gonzaga and a
Yes.
PhD from
Yeah.
Utah State.
Shout out to Gonzaga.
Yeah, go Zags.
Yep.
So that's really been when you don't know what to do, at least you're on a good path somewhere.
That's a good point because a lot of people in school, I think, would say the same thing. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I know I'm doing something good. I'm learning something and that kind of thing. I was in school for a long, long time because of other reasons, but we won't get into that because this is not my story today. But yeah, so did you have other siblings growing in the family?
I'm number 2 of 5.
2 of 5. Okay.
And the only girl. Yeah.
Whoa, you were
And-
outnumbered.
Yeah, but it's easy to say I'm their favorite sister
Yeah.
or my parents' favorite daughter. And I use that phrase
that
as
easy,
often
right?
as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How was that growing up with all brothers?
I liked it. I liked having that I was very unique, and at the same time, I would have appreciated having a sister that I could talk to or connect with.
Yeah.
And what I find now is I am a mother of 4, 3 boys and 1 girl. So I can really identify with where she's at. And it's
Yeah.
really shaped our relationship to really be a beautiful
Okay.
friendship, even though she's 16.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you closer to your mom, do you think, because you were the only girl, or did you not notice that?
I would say yes. And I think my dad was a scout leader, like the classic hunting, wanted to ride horses, like very much a man's man,
Yeah.
if you will.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think he had a lot more in common with my brothers than he did with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So outdoor stuff, all the, outdoorsy. I know you do a lot of humanitarian trips, and I just had the opportunity to speak at HXP, the Humanitarian
I saw
Experience,
that.
last week,
Yes.
and that was amazing.
Yes.
And just the, again, these kids are on the right track. They're out there going to go do good in the world, and you understand this better than I do. And so what got you into that initially? Like, I mean, you're this person who loves to help people. I mean, that's just kind of like that's your
That's
thing.
like my North Star.
Yeah, that is your thing.
Yeah.
Did you notice that as a young kid too? Were you always looking for maybe the kid to help, or did that, grow over time? Or
Yeah, I think it was more an evolution of understanding of how I'm wired. I, in high school, thought that I maybe wanted to be a guidance counselor. And I remember floating that idea past my parents, maybe hoping for a little encouragement.
yeah,
But my concern was I would be not have a good boundary with that. And I'd want to bring all these cute little humans home.
yeah,
And
right.
they were
Who's
like,
this?
"You're probably right. Your heart's too big," which is fine. It's fun to kind of come full circle back to my North Star.
Yeah,
So you asked, why did I go maybe on my first humanitarian trip? And I think that's a real pivotal moment in my life. I remember sitting on a Delta flight and I read about these humanitarian expeditions or volunteer work,
yeah,
maybe 5 or 10 years before I actually went. And I thought, that's something I want to do one day. And I think you've read enough of my story to know I had a pretty come to Jesus kind of moment where it was everything, the foundation of my world just kept dropping out one piece at a time.
yeah,
I had backed up sewage actually in my basement that required replacing all of the carpet and sheetrock and all the
Oh,
furniture,
boy.
to do that. My second ex-husband moved out. My grandpa passed away. And it just felt like I was going to keep getting these nudges until it was take off your Wonder Woman cape. And the last one was an emergency hysterectomy. And I just thought, I have got to slow down or the universe is going to keep
yeah,
more than nudging. Because, right, you get a nudge and a whisper
Yeah.
and then it's louder and louder. And it's like, how loud do you need this voice to be before you slow down and kind of reassess where you're
Yeah.
at? So as a result of that, which was in May of 2012, I really felt called to do something big to get out of my current mental state. I was really struggling with depression and not even wanting to get out of bed. I had
Yeah.
2 kids in elementary school and I had 2 that were 2 and 3. And I'd shower before the olders got
Yeah.
home so that I could hide that part of my story. And so, when the holidays rolled around at the end of the year, I thought I've got to do something. And so I subtly put it out there. And
Yeah.
it's interesting when you are open to an idea and it's what you're really supposed to be doing. The
Yeah.
floodgates opened. It was here's an idea, talk to this person.
yeah,
I wrote more than a handful of letters and said, sometimes you have more time than money. Sometimes you have more money than time.
yeah,
I have lots of time and I was a single mom. I didn't have much money. And so I was able to crowdsource my fee for my humanitarian expedition. And then somebody donated miles for me to fly.
Wow,
So I literally had to come up with probably $50 or $100 of my own
Jeez.
money.
that's
And it-
amazing.
Transformed my life. It really did, that experience.
Wow. Well, and isn't it amazing how people will just want to help?
They'll show up.
They'll just show up.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's a beautiful thing. I want to talk more about that. Obviously, I want to still stay a little bit, ask you a few more questions
Sure.
about your childhood. I know this is a big question because it could be a million things, but what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned from your parents, would you say?
My dad is full of integrity and honesty and brought that not only into our family, but work and church and that the importance of hard work.
Hard work, yeah. Because you seem like a hard worker.
Yeah.
Like just, you even said it, man. The universe was trying to say, hey, slow it down
Yes.
a tad here. And yeah, you're kind of a go-getter, right?
Yeah. We had a large garden, raspberry patch, zucchini. Like it was like a classic Norman Rockwell environment to be raised in a little bit.
Yeah.
And the value of education. I think, for my mom,
your mom, sure.
having a bachelor's degree for that generation, right? Both my parents were born in the 40s. And my dad has a master's. Like education was certainly valued and modeled for us, that was a path in the right direction. Okay. And I'm sure that shaped my decisions of, I don't know what I'm doing, go to school.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You had that influence. And you talk about your dad was a man of integrity. Mm-hmm. Why is that so important to you? I mean, obviously you watched your dad be that way, but why is that integrity, and how would you define that for our listeners?
To me, it's more than just being honest. It's identifying your own values and living with integrity of what's important to you.
Okay. Hence maybe why when you were gung-ho going in that direction, that you weren't in alignment with yourself or in your heart. Fair? Mm-hmm. And that's when you realized something's got to give here. Because you talk about how if success without alignment isn't success at all.
Right. Then you're living according to somebody else's values or what somebody else may think is important. And if your bank account being at whatever the number isn't that important to you, like that's not what drives you. Just because the external world says you need to look a certain way or dress a certain way or drive a car or have this house.
Make this much every year.
Yeah.
You got to,
Yeah. Like if that's not what aligns for me, it's interesting. One of my values is adventure. And I find that interesting because why I've done a lot of work with this, and it's one of the things that I help my coaching clients. Why does adventure matter to me? It's not so much that I need to get off a plane and experience something new. It's that I always want to be growing and expand my horizons and expand my comfort zone. So when I understand that adventure is almost one of my love languages, then I can be more intentional with where am I spending my money or my time or my attention.
Yeah. Is that adventure tied really close, if not completely, with helping other people?
Often.
Yeah. Because a lot of these adventures, these humanitarian experiences, you're out there making a difference to people who would otherwise never have, the chance to be better because of your efforts.
And it's a combination of being in those communities in rural, whether it's Africa, Nepal, Kenya, Peru, it doesn't really matter where. It's not only helping them, there's also the people that are on the trip themselves and seeing their hearts crack wide open.
Yeah.
And then the continuous support after those trips to help them stay rooted in what they learned and what they're applying. Because it's hard to travel and do service and not have transformation. Like it's like the perfect everything.
It really is, man. And I want to talk more about that. But I want to ask you, when you obviously you realize you were out of alignment with you, like with what really mattered to you. But when you're in that headspace, realizing this isn't working, talk about that transformation for you. And like, how did you go through that? Because I'm sure it's not easy, because there's a part of you going, well, I'm successful over here. Yes. Why would I just drop all of that and go do this?
Right.
Do you mind sharing a little more around that? Because there's a lot there, I know.
There is a lot there. And it all happened in a fairly short amount of time in the sense of that knowing, that understanding. Right. Now, did the transformation take place overnight? That's been literally a 10-year plus process. Right. And still on that path, right? Like when are you done? When do you get the check?
Yeah.
But I was actually at Tiffany's event. Tiffany Peterson, she had an Elevate event in 2013 that I attended.
Okay.
And I saw this beautiful woman, Soul Ann, she just radiates so much love and goodness.
She really does. And
she shared her story, and I thought in that weekend workshop, I thought if she can do this, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I'm not there today, but this is what's happening on my vision board. Like what's my 10 or 15-year plan. And it's almost like I got a download, for a lack of a better word, a lot of clarity of you get to heal yourself, and then you get to have your mess become your message. You can write a book, you can lead retreats, you can do coaching, you can do workshops, but first you got to get through it. Just because you're going through hell doesn't mean you need to stop and build a house. Work through this and figure it out. And I was literally Googling how to be happy, or what are the books, or there weren't really podcasts so much, right? In 2012, 2013, retreats. I told you education's my strategy. I got 2 yoga certifications, and I did a women in leadership program that's local, and I did one through the U. I was constantly I was probably looking for outside validation as well as the internal tools. And it took me a little while to understand how much my inside world was actually being reflected in my outside world. And then I get to take some time and help heal some of those inner parts. And then the outside world would match what was happening on the inside.
Love that. Yeah, your outer world mirrors your inner world, right?
Way harder than I realized.
Yeah, that's
back
interesting.
in the day.
Well, and it also reminds me of a quote by Rumi, where he said, "Yesterday I was clever and I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself."
Yes.
Right? And that's really what was starting to happen, was what I got from that, what you said. Man, that's beautiful.
His one about, and I could look it up in my book right here, but my first chapter has a Rumi quote that talks about when we crack open, that's where the light enters.
Yes.
I don't have the exact phrase, but yes, the sense of it is there for sure.
That's where the light comes through. So we're Rumi fans, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see? And we're Neil Donald Walsh fans, man. We got a lot in common.
And when I listened to your podcast a few days ago, when you, first name is Alan Watts. Did I get that right?
Yes.
I was like, how can I find this quote? Maybe on that version of your podcast, leave it as a comment, because...
Well, I was going to share the quote with you today because you know what? That quote aligns with you because you weren't in alignment. So you literally just pulled yourself away from the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny. I literally have it right here. I was going to share it with you at the end. We'll go over it and we will put it as part of the show notes. How's that?
Yeah. For people that didn't see what just happened, I love that you had this motion of like a bowl or a slingshot. And that's one of the metaphors in my book, because for me, when I slow down and it sometimes looks like I'm moving backwards, it becomes this thing that catapults me into the next chapter.
Oh, I love that.
And my experience with that was, this is crazy to think about. Like, I love that we're meeting today, and this will be a little timestamp, because I started writing my book on a Monday, and it feels like it was maybe like 12 days ago, or whatever. And I sat down at the piano and I played for probably 2 hours and sang, and just not with the intention of I'm going to write a book today. But it was like my soul was just calling for this nourishment of like tapping into who I am and what I want in life and joy. And after I was done playing, thank goodness nobody was home, because I was singing loud. And like Carole King, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Oh, I was letting it all go.
You were going.
I was going hard.
I love it.
And after I played for a couple hours, again, it was just like my heart and brain cracked open. It was like, here's the outline. Here's the framework. Include a story of yours on each chapter so that people know that you've been on the journey. Here's the tool that they can apply to their own life. Have some very white space where people can journal and reflect. And then I was like, okay, right. Capture this. And so it's so fun to have started that 10 or 12 days ago, and now to be in like editing, and I'm working with a publisher. Like, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And it was like The Muses, The Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It was like they were tapping on my shoulder like, are you going to listen? Because if you're going to listen, we got some goodies to share with you.
Love that. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Again, it's an indicator, again, that you're in line with yourself. You're doing the things that really mean something to you versus just trying to, I guess, I guess, live someone else's dream. I don't know,
Yes.
right?
Because I think it's easy to kind of get in that hamster wheel of life where you just go, because this is what you do. You go to work, you come home, you've got, the responsibilities, and then wake up and do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And for what? Like, who says that winning at life is that? Like, at some point you get to figure out, what does winning at life look like for you? And
Yeah.
it's so different for every person.
Yeah, it really is. Well, no, I love that. Let's talk a little bit about, you've got a book, Tired to Inspired.
Yes.
What a title. Talk about that, and how did you come up with the title?
I was in the shower.
Yeah.
Isn't that where some of the best thinking happens?
Showers and on a run. When I'm on a run, like
Yeah.
I like to run, man, I get so much inspiration. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do for my client, or that's what I'm going to share with my kids, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mentioned I think before we started the podcast that one of my mantras, probably the mantra that I've had for a long time,
Yeah.
was to be inspired and be inspiring, with that idea of receiving and also acting on it. And there's that Marianne Williamson quote that talks about, as you let your own light shine, you give others permission to do the same.
Yeah, I love that.
If nobody's
Powerful
familiar
beyond
with
measure.
that, yeah, Our
Yep.
Deepest Fear, if you
Yeah.
Google that, Marianne Williamson.
Oh yeah, it's as the young kids call it, is a banger,
Yeah.
right? It really is. It's one of
It
my
is a banger.
favorites. Yeah.
I was exposed to that concept and that quote when I
Uh-huh.
was working on my master's at
Okay.
Gonzaga. So that was like
Oh,
98,
nice.
like early on.
Mm.
And it's really been one of those
Yeah.
like settle in your heart.
Yep.
And it's stuck with me for, what is that? Like, gosh,
Yeah.
30 years.
Well, it's funny, if you look on my wall over there, those three
Oh,
principles
yes.
on the wall, you got "You're powerful beyond measure."
Yes.
That's because of Marianne Williamson.
Yeah.
So, shout out to her.
Yes. I feel like you asked me a question. I started going somewhere and, the book.
Yeah.
Right.
Just the title. You got it in the
Yes.
shower.
Yes. Yep. Because I was really thinking through, like Donald Miller has the marketing concept of, if you want to help people, you need to help them identify what is their pain, where are they, they're stuck,
Yep.
what's their biggest pain point, and where are you going to guide them. And I was also thinking about that funnel of like shame and guilt at the bottom, the funnel of emotion. I'm not getting the right phrase. And then up at the top is peace and bliss and joy. And so I was visually thinking of that funnel, and I thought, where are my readers? Where are they going to be?
Is that the Omega Consciousness Scale?
I think so.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
top's enlightenment. I think it's 750.
Yes.
The very bottom, shame, which is 20.
Yes.
On the scale from 0 to 100 on the frequency level.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. That's
Oh, we
the
are
one.
so in line. We're a lot alike.
We are a lot
Yeah,
alike.
this is so cool.
How have we not met before
right?
today?
Yeah, it's so bizarre. But here we are. And this
Yes.
this is great.
I love it. And so in the shower, I was visually thinking of that cone and thinking where they probably have some guilt, shame, but they're really probably more here. And, I'm like 6 inches above my leg. And then where can I help coach them? Probably not to enlightenment, right? But if I could help them move along the path in a significant way. And so I want them to be inspired, and that I want to be inspired and inspiring.
Yeah.
That came, and then instantly I was like, ooh, and the rhyme of it, from tired to inspired.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think everyone can relate with that.
Yeah.
Because I think, when I first read that, and this was a few weeks ago, I was like, I can totally relate, because I feel like a lot of times I'm really tired. And I'm doing good things out there. I think I'm doing good, doing my best, but at times I feel sometimes exhausted because I'm trying to just do everything, and so I'd love to hear what share with our listeners what the book's about and what they would gain from it by reading it.
Yes. Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
I think my very first letter to the reader says something like, this is the book that I wish I would have had essentially in 2012, 2013. And it's taking me, on one hand, I wrote the book, first draft, in 10 days. And
That's
on the other
amazing.
hand,
Yeah.
it's taken 10 years. Because even as I was cleaning off my desk before I wrote the book, or maybe it was as I was writing it, that helps me as I declutter and let go of things whether that's visibly cleaning off my desk or writing a letter and then burning it and flushing it down the toilet, whatever it is that you need to do to let go of, whether it's emotional or physical things. I saw all these little scraps of paper or pages in a journal that were talking about the concepts that have really transformed my heart. Like one of my favorite ones is that Ho'oponopono. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah. And so when that was shared with me,
Wow.
I don't know, probably like 2014 or 15. And for those that don't know, it's a 4-part Hawaiian prayer that says, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. I might have gotten the order a little bit wonky, but
sounded good to me.
they're all there.
They're there.
Yeah. When I applied that to my own life, and I had a relationship that I was really struggling with, and it really was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to fill my frustration or anger.
Yeah.
But when I applied that to my own heart and to this person, not with the idea of letting them off the hook but just like, this isn't serving me any longer.
Right.
So there are strategies in that book that I've written that here's the strategy, here's how I applied it to my own heart, and here's an invitation for you to do the same. So it's really all these fun little tools and strategies. Nice. Fun might not be the right adjective. Meaningful, important, and maybe lesser known even strategies that I wished I would have had. But also it's been part of my journey, and it's kind of been, I feel like I'm almost like a gardener where I'm like, ooh, that's a beautiful one. This one's helpful.
Yeah.
This is unique. I haven't heard of this one before. Yeah. And then putting them in a structural framework that it's identifying, where are you at today? Where do you want to go? How do you declutter your own computer desk or your mindset and kind of leading the reader with some really intentional strategies that can really transform their lives. And that feels big to say, but also I've done it.
Yeah.
So if I
You've
can do
lived
it, anybody can do it.
Exactly. No, that's beautiful. I know you're really big on helping even your clientele to identify and live within their core values. Mm-hmm. So will you share a little bit about that? Because I do that a lot with my clients, but I'd love to hear your take on that. And what does that look like? I know that's a big question, but how do you help someone identify, what their core values are and to help them, live within those?
I love the quote that says, if everything's important, nothing's important.
Yeah.
Which is cold, hard truth right there.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a doozy. That's a banger.
It is a banger.
Wow.
So one of the resources that I've cultivated is a list of about 60 to 75 core values.
Okay.
And the first step is look at all these core values and just put a little dot next to the ones that ring true to you.
Okay.
So some people might pick 20, others 50, others might do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then bring it back. Like, if everything's important, nothing's important. So I love that you love all these values. They're all good. Now let's narrow it down to like 10 or 15. So then they underline.
Like what are the ones that really stand out for you that you would,
And there, you can also group them, right? Like love, belonging, sense of community, connection. Mm-hmm. Like you might have a dot next to all of those, but which one represents all of them? Like it doesn't have to be, well, I love learning and personal growth. Like, those are very similar, but what one resonates the most to your heart? So then they underline 10 or 15, and then they get to circle the top 2 or 3.
Okay.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
And they can also change, right? Depending upon where you're at in your stage of life and come back and revisit. But then we look at their calendar, their budget, whether that's their bank statement or cash, however people manage their money, and their attention or energy. Because if I say that family is important to me, but I'm rarely home, then maybe that's not really a value. Or maybe you get to shift your resources so that more of your resources are going to those relationships.
Well, maybe it indicates you're out of alignment, right?
Or that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, man, this isn't lining up. I say this, my actions are saying this. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's causing someone feel, that cognitive dissonance where you're like, ugh. And maybe what they're saying is, I know I should be doing this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know that is something that you're really passionate about, and yourself, and making sure you're in line with what your core values are. Do you do that? Is that a check for you every day? Like, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to the incredible sponsors of the BeliefCast podcast. First, Craig from Craig Swap and Associates. If you need an attorney, he's your guy. Trustworthy, compassionate, always there when you need him most. Next, Wasatch Recovery, the greatest university on the planet, transforming lives one day at a time. Sandy from Minky Couture, the creative genius behind the most comfortable blanket you'll ever wrap yourself in. Comfort like no other. Special thanks to the award-winning pianist Paul Cardall for his beautiful music that brings inspiration to every episode. Okay, am I in line with where I should be today? Do you do, like, is there some kind of exercise you do on a daily basis, or is it just
Not
natural
daily.
to you?
But it is something that I have other practices daily. Like my favorite one is, it's a game I play with myself as I go to bed at night. I have a rock on my nightstand that just reminds me to do this practice.
Yeah.
And so I pick the rock up and I think through my entire day, and I come up with, what is the one best thing that happened today? And I say it's a game because, tonight I'll be thinking about, that conversation I had with Todd. I mean, this is going to be in the running. My day's not done yet.
Yeah.
Or was it, a conversation? Or was it my singing in the car on the way down? Like, what's the thing? And I'll think about all of the good things that happened. And that always helps bring me back to alignment with staying aligned with my values, because then I can be reflective and think, well, one of my core values is impact. So there's a good chance, Todd, that this will be the one that, that hits hard for me when I go to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, to take it next level, if somebody's been part of that gratitude part, I will either send something, depends on what time of night it is, or I'll send a text the next morning and say, this is my practice. And by the way, you made the list, or you were the one.
Yeah.
And so it kind of is this full circle, because it's putting positivity out into the world. And it's also, in a very small way, modeling, like, this is a practice that you could include in your own life. And who knows where the ripple effect of that will end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Really well said.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. No, that was beautiful. Have you found, I'm sure clients come to you, obviously they're looking for help and they're looking for guidance. Do you find it's hard for someone who's living a certain way and they're successful here, but it's not in alignment with what they really want, but to actually make the shift? Do you find that they're really kind of, they kind of don't want to do it? Like, they really wrestle with saying, okay, I probably should do this, but they, most people won't do what you did, honestly, because you're successful with what you were doing. To be able to go, nope, this doesn't align with me, and then shift it completely in the other direction. Most people won't do that, it seems like.
They have to get uncomfortable enough. They have to decide that where they're at is going to be their rock bottom. Or they can say, I don't like it, but it's comfortable and it's what I know. Yeah. And so a lot of people are in that headspace of, I don't love it, but I don't hate it enough to change. And so
that makes sense.
If I can help them move an inch down, or a foot, or a yard, or a mile, like, I'm just there to help in whatever way that they want. Yeah. But they have to care about it more than me. Like, I can't change anybody. I can only do me. Yeah.
It's funny. I had a client, this is a little while ago, who had been to jail 60 times. And then he, in the same breath, he said, I hate jail. Oh, I hate it so much. And I go, I don't think you hate it enough, though. And he's like, no, Todd, I hate it. I go, no, I don't think you do. Right. And we argued for a minute, and this is in front of 16 other people. We're doing a little therapy group, and I just was hitting him with it. I'm like, you don't hate it enough, because if you really hated it, you'd probably stop doing the behaviors that lead you back to jail. And eventually he caught it. He was like, yeah. He goes, man, I've never thought of it that way, but you're right. I said, so think about that and let that marinate for a minute. So it kind of goes along with what you just said, right?
One of the quotes in my book is, that which you're not changing, you're choosing.
I love that. I've heard that before.
That is a truth bomb.
That is a boom.
That's another banger.
That's another banger. Yeah. That's another banger. That's so cool. Yeah. That's so true, right?
Another way to hear that is, that which you permit, you promote. And when I saw
Jeez.
that in,
Gotta write that one down.
ooh, Todd's pulling out the
Yeah,
pen.
I gotta write that one down.
For me, that hit hard maybe like 5-ish years ago when I was in a relationship and I was permitting myself to be treated in a way that was out of alignment with my values. And I realized that by permitting that, I was promoting. Oh,
Whoa.
I was like, okay, and I'm done.
Yeah, because when you look at it that way,
Yes.
you're like, I don't want to be promoting this, but that's
Right.
what's going on here.
Yes.
And when you connect those dots, that's when you go, I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everybody gets
love
to
that.
get to that point in their life, right? Whether it's a coaching client or 60 times in jail. Well,
Yeah.
you're choosing it because you're not changing it.
Yeah.
So when do you want to be done enough with this behavior that you're going to choose something different?
Yep. Yeah, those are some good ones. I gotta just put those down real quick. Okay. So you wrote another book. You got a children's book sitting right here. Can I share the title?
Beautiful. Please.
Love from Head to Toe. And it's a children's book, and you've got it sitting right here. Tell us about that and what gave you that idea.
This is another magical moment. And it's kind of back to that slingshot idea,
Yeah.
right? When we step back, for me, it's getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But when for some reason, it's sometimes harder at home. Laundry, kids, bills,
Yeah.
weed the garden, yada, yada. So last October, I flew to Dubai, mostly because it was a good, main hub to transition to Nepal. And I'm always up for a little adventure. So
Yeah,
I had
right?
2 or 3 days in Nepal or Dubai. And then I was leading a humanitarian trip in Nepal for a week. And then on my way home, I stayed in Paris for 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
Packing was a beast, right?
I can
Because
imagine.
hot weather, cold weather, digging trenches in Nepal or looking bougie in Paris. So it was
What a
kind of fun.
contrast,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So when I came out of my hotel in Dubai, there was this huge elephant statue, and I was like, that is beautiful. And I was journaling, and a journal prompt that I often start with is, Dear One, what would you have me know today? It just kind of is a invitation to
Yeah.
what does my future self want me to know, or my higher self, or God.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty easy to have a regular practice like that when it's just you traveling by yourself.
Yeah.
So that kind of laid the fertile soil, if you will, for this children's book that's gorgeous beyond measure. And I am biased, but also it's so beautiful. So then I was in Nepal, and it was interesting because in Nepal, I picked up a scarf for my daughter-in-law, and I didn't really analyze it, but it was this very soft cashmere scarf.
Yeah.
So I put that in my shopping bag. And then I bought a cute little box because my granddaughter was on her way. This was October, and my granddaughter was born the day after Christmas. So I wanted to get this little box to have little memories in there or notes or whatever. And I specifically did pick out 3 elephants to represent her dad and her mom and me. My son has spent some time in Africa as well, and he brought me back a elephant. And so
Yeah.
it felt symbolic. And then I was in Paris, and and then somebody gave me a little mug for my birthday that had an elephant. And I was like, oh, now I'm starting to catch the vision of elephants.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. So then I'm in Paris, and I'm in this vintage clothing store looking for a jacket. I'm not exactly sure why, but I put my hand in my left pocket and I pull out a coin that had an elephant on it.
No
and so
way.
I had somebody turn it into a ring. I'll share that with you.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes I'm slow, but I was like, okay,
Yeah.
there's something going on with elephants. And so I just kind of tucked it in my
Wow, that's
back
beautiful.
pocket or my kind of quirky
What
and
a
fun.
beautiful
huh?
ring. That's
It's-
awesome. Thank you.
I mean, it's a car wash token
Yeah.
is what it really is.
Hey,
but I was like,
I never would have known that. Dang.
I'm going to have
That's-
somebody make a ring out of that.
That's amazing.
So I got home October 31st. And then
Yeah.
the next day, November 1st, was this little, again, like that big magic Elizabeth Gilbert. It felt like
Yeah.
the muses were tapping on my shoulder and said, you know, your yoga nidra practice and body scan and Louise Hay, Heal Your Life. What if you wrote a children's book that was based on that and starts at your feet and ends with your head and your heart and your gut? And you have an elephant that represents, and
Yeah.
So I started writing it, and literally I was done in like 2 or 3 days. But
That's
it
incredible.
wasn't me writing. It felt more like I
Yeah.
was being given a gift.
That's amazing.
And then I found a gorgeous illustrator that, even that, right?
Yeah.
I hopped on Fiverr, and I
all
knew I
places, yeah.
wanted watercolor. I
Yeah.
feel in this AI world that hand-drawn art
Yeah.
and the imperfection of watercolor and the lack of control and the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I was like, I want watercolor.
Makes it more authentic, right? Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I loved her style. And then she is from Hungary but lives in Indonesia.
Okay.
And so I knew that she would understand the
Yeah.
spirituality behind the book and the significance of an elephant.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was a fun collaboration. And I mean, that really should launch within the next couple of months.
Okay.
So
love
follow
that.
me on socials, and you'll
Yeah. Very cool.
see more about the books coming up.
Love it. Okay. We will be looking out for that. What do you love most about being a mother?
Oh, isn't it great? Mother's Day was just
Yeah. We just
last
passed
weekend.
it. Yeah.
And I had a conversation with my kids last Mother's Day, and then it was fun to remember this Mother's Day what that conversation was, because each of my kids was doing something pretty brave in their own right. My oldest boy was soon, going to be a father, married, and he has done door-to-door sales for a pest control company and now is one of the owners. So
Oh, wow.
at 27, I was like, I am so proud of this kid. Like, he
That's
is
awesome.
living his own truth, marching to his own drum, and really he knows what he values and he takes action. And then my second son is 24, and he was going to Saudi Arabia to visit a girlfriend. And I thought, what 24-year-old? What? Like, that's brave.
Very brave.
Then my next boy, 16 at the time, and so he had his driver's license like probably 5 months. And he told me he wanted to drive an hour to go to a job interview at a hot springs outside of Preston, Idaho. And I was like,
You're like, what?
okay. And
Yeah.
also, like, you've had your license for like 4 or 5 months. Like, you don't even have a phone with Google Maps on it, because at the time you had a Gab phone. It wasn't even a smartphone.
Oh, wow.
And then my daughter was really doing great with speech. And so she was 15 at the time. And as a freshman, she was talking at the state speech tournament. I was like, who are these humans?
Yeah,
and so I
that's
asked
awesome.
each of them, I'm like, what has helped you live life in such a big way? And I think I want to mention one more thing about my third son. So I asked him when he wanted to go to the interview, I said, do you want to drive by yourself? Do you want me to take you? Like,
Yeah.
I know you want to be brave. And I love that he wanted to drive himself, but he was also a little nervous because he'd
Yeah.
never driven that far by himself.
Sure.
And so he said, what I'd like is for you to drive behind me in your own car so that if I need you, you're there.
Okay.
And so when you ask what am I most proud of, it's that my kids can ask for my help when they need it,
Yeah.
that they know I'll be there. But also my son number 2, when I asked him, like, how are you so brave? He said, have you seen our mother?
Yeah.
And so I
That's
love
awesome.
that I have lived my life in such a way that it's my one wild and precious life.
Yeah.
And I'm living it in alignment with my values. And I haven't always done that, but by modeling that for my kids now,
Yeah.
they also are figuring out what they want. And they know I've got their back. I love them unconditionally, and that I'll be there if they need me, but also they've got this.
Wow.
I'm
that's
so proud of each of my kids, and I love you when you guys
Yeah.
listen to this.
Shout out to the kids.
Yeah, shout out to
that's,
them for
that's
sure.
beautiful. What a way to say that. You answered that beautifully. You're doing a lot of good things in the world. I mean, obviously you're living your best life, if you will. I know that you probably have other ideas. You're writing books.
Mm-hmm.
Is there other things in your horizon? Do you ever like think way ahead? Like, okay, eventually I want to do this. Is there anything you could share with us that you've been thinking about, or do you kind of just let it come as it comes?
A little bit of both. I
Okay.
mean, I'm definitely manifester, vision board, like put those practices. And so my North Star really is, how do I make the world a better place and whatever ripple impact I can have.
Yeah.
So being on podcasts, I love this.
Yeah.
Being on stages,
Good to have you.
I still get adrenaline, but I also know that my message is a light for others. So speaking on stages is for sure something that I love doing.
Yeah.
And understanding that writing a book for me was about the ability to impact more people and have it more accessible, because my coaching prices aren't at a price point where everybody can take advantage of those.
Right. Okay.
And continuing to lead retreats. So I'm taking a group of women to Kenya in
Oh my goodness.
June,
Right on.
like a month away.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
coming up.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, no, I love just the way you carry yourself, just all the good you're doing. And more importantly, I love your bravery to literally be honest with yourself and say, I'm not in alignment with this way I'm going in my life right now, and I got to do something different. That's a brave thing to do. Don't you think? I mean,
yes.
Maybe you don't see it that way, but from
No,
someone
I
looking
do.
from the outside, it's like, dang.
Yeah.
'Cause
What's interesting is when you live more in alignment is how much more support I feel in all ways and in all things. And the things that no longer serve me
yeah.
kind of drift away, whether that's relationship or weight or homes or like whatever it is. It's that Indiana Jones moment, right?
Yeah.
Where you step onto the bridge and you hope it's there.
Yeah.
But it
right.
takes a step. It's not just, if the road was easy, everybody would be on it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think it can be easy. We just tell ourselves that it's harder than it needs to be. So yeah, I mean, it was brave to leave a corporate role where I was making good money, lots of foundation or support and benefits and all of that. But really the nudge came from God that said, how hard do you want this lesson? Like, is this hard enough right here? Because you remember 2012?
Yeah.
You want that again? Because I got it in me if you don't listen. It was like, no, I'm good. That last little nudge, that's all I needed.
Wow. Oh, I love that. Great way to say that as well. Well, I want to share that quote that we talked about.
Please,
And then I've got one more question after that, and then we'll kind of take it from there. Now, this quote by Alan Watts.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a quote. It's more of a statement.
Okay.
And I've tried to put it to my memory because it means so much to me. So I'm going to see if I can do it by memory here for a minute.
Okay.
But I've got it in front of me just in case. But love to hear your thoughts on it and why that meant so much to you as well. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's funny. I really did. When I was thinking of you this morning, I was like, yes, this fits exactly with what you did. You were willing to pull yourself away from the crowd. So here we go. It's titled, Isn't It Curious? Isn't it curious that the moment we begin to grow, the people around us begin to vanish? But when you were reckless, lost in the noise of indulgence, you were never alone. But now that you strive for something more, silence. You see, human beings cling to familiarity, not because it's good, not because it's right, but simply because it's known. And when you begin to change, when you step beyond the version of yourself they once knew, it unsettles them. Most friendships aren't built on deep connection, but shared habits. If you drink, they drink. If you complain, they complain. If you fear, they fear. Misery, after all, loves company. But the moment you no longer entertain the drama, the gossip, the self-destruction, the crowd thins. Not because they don't like you, but simply because they don't know you anymore. And truthfully, they do not wish to. So what will it be? To stay the same, surrounded but stagnant, or to walk alone for a period of time and discover the rare few that resonate with your higher self? Because the irony is, the loneliest path is often the only path that leads to true belonging. What does that mean to you? Why did that hit you so hard when you first heard it?
When I first heard it a day or two ago,
Yeah.
right? I love the synchronicity and synergy of all of that. It reminds me a lot of the work that Brene Brown does, and she has one about the lone wolf.
Yeah.
And actually, that's interesting because I remember somebody sharing that with me when I was in Nepal, and man, I had my journal and I was writing on it because it resonated so much for me because I have experienced that a lot in my life,
Yeah.
especially over the last year or two,
Yeah.
where friendships have fallen away and it does feel lonely. but also realizing that the gift in that is the opportunity to get to know myself deeper, that I do get to be the one that I've been waiting for,
Yeah.
that everything that I've been looking for externally,
Yeah.
guess what? That you don't need it from external. It was more of a flashlight shining on your own heart that said, you get to be these things for you.
Okay.
And
Yeah. I love that.
I feel like I've met a like-minded human today. So thank you,
thanks.
Todd, for inviting me and for all the good that you do in the world. I've loved every single podcast that I've listened to
Thank
of yours.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. It really does. And again, I'm grateful that we've connected. Thanks again to Tiffany. And I just love rubbing shoulders with people who like-minded, where we're trying to make a difference in this world. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not perfect by any stretch, but I'm trying to do my little niche over here to make a difference. But yeah, it's so great to have you on. I want to ask you, if someone's listening to you right now and they're in a dark place in their life and they're struggling and they're not sure what to do right now, and they've tuned into this episode and they're listening to Deonne right now, what would you tell that person?
There's two that I want to say. One, it's
Please.
never too late to reinvent yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen that modeled I have two good friends that are in their 70s, and I'm like, how are you still reinventing yourself?
Right.
And I love it so much.
Yeah.
The other part of this is, don't minimize the opportunity for somebody else to show up for you, because there's a gift in asking and receiving, right? So if you're at a low of low, it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to trust that somebody will be there for you. And I feel like I didn't do a good job of that when I was at my lowest of lows. I felt like I still had to keep that Wonder Woman cape on.
Yeah.
And I prevented somebody else from giving me a gift. And so that part doesn't feel good, but also I learned a lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to raise your hand and say, I need some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll be the giver, sometimes we'll be the receiver. And like, there's a gift in both sides of that coin.
Oh, well said. That's beautiful. And I'm sure those who have tuned in are struggling. That means a lot to them. So thank you. They needed to hear that today, honestly. That's why you're here. Honestly, you're here to share that message.
Yes.
And everything else you've shared today has been wonderful. I can't thank you enough for being on my show.
Absolutely.
It means the world
My
to me,
pleasure.
and I'm so glad we met. I love just the way you believe and carry yourself. I think we're in line with a lot of things here, and I know this is going to make an impact on some people out there. So if people want to reach out to you and learn more about you and, get your book and eventually get this children's book and, just follow what you're doing, all this good stuff, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. My handle for most of those is Dr. Deonne, DRDEONNE. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Pretty easy to find. Yep.
Yes.
So
and my website, drdeonne.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
Check out our website. I'll put that in the show notes so they can click right to you.
Okay.
And I encourage anyone listening to this to please reach out to her and to Deonne and just ask her anything.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you can tell she's very open and she's very vulnerable with what she's been through, which has been fantastic to hear. So please reach out to her. And so I can't thank you enough for being here.
It's been my absolute pleasure, Todd.
I hope so.
And I look forward to staying connected.
Yep. Me too. So Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, there you go, guys. A great episode with Dr. Deonne Johnson. Please reach out to her, like I said, and please share this with your family and loved ones. And if you have a friend or a coworker or a son or a daughter who's in a dark space, share a link of this episode to them. This will break the ice. It'll help them kind of maybe see things more clearly. You can follow back up with them. It'll help you have a great conversation with your loved ones. So please do that. Again, thanks to my sponsors. I really appreciate all that you do and your love and support for me. It means the world. So everyone, till next time, and stay good. Love you guys.